I was born on the 25th of November 1982. According to those who theorise within the digital native, digital immigrant concept voiced by Mark Prensky in 2001, I live right on the borderline of this new digital native land. 1982, of course, being considered as the beginning of the Nintendo generation. I haven't grown up with the digital technology that surrounds us today, but I have seen it develop as I've grown into adulthood. Digital technology might be considered as my slightly younger or even slightly older brother, who I've watched grow and learn new things as I have. Those people who graduated 10 years earlier than me, more often than not, live much further away from the 1982 borderline of this digital native land. And the key differences, which often distinguish people living in different areas divided by borders, are naturally culture, traditions, beliefs, ideals, and of course language. Let me frame this answer for you in the context of my own work as an experimental performance maker. And I'll read a passage for you from the artistic intent section of my website. Several years ago, French-Canadian artist Robert Lepage said that we're dealing with an audience today that has very sophisticated narrative vocabulary. He said, "I'm not saying that we have to become more cinematic or more televisual, but we have to find a way to invite that audience into the theatre." Now, I believe that this vocabulary that Robert Lepage talks about will become, and is becoming right now, more and more sophisticated. It seems to me that society is becoming increasingly aware and interested in all the media, new, old and reinterpreted, that has suddenly surrounded us. We know how to watch the television or the cinema screen, or how to listen to the radio. We use mobile devices to communicate with each other, using newfound languages. We play computer games that offer a level of virtual interactivity never seen before. We effortlessly organise our social lives using social networking utilities like Facebook and MySpace, all online. Even the basics of our lives can now be managed digitally with the advent of online shopping, banking, and even dating. Essentially, what I'm getting at here is that in the last 10 years, a new land has been created, and naturally it has a new language, and this language is split up into countless, endless dialects. I speak Windows. I speak Mac OS X. I speak PlayStation and iPod. I speak Sony Ericsson and Nintendo Wii. Even though I don't own one, I still speak Xbox. I speak Google, Facebook, and MySpace. This list could, and no doubt will, go on. In my view, it's not so much a characteristic that sets my generation apart, but more of a linguistic ability. Unsurprisingly, digital natives, well, they speak digitally. Interestingly, I recently ran a workshop with some 13 and 14-year-olds in my role as an animateur with international digital applied theatre company C&T. In this workshop, we actually asked each other a very similar question to the question you're asking. Our question was, what would our ideal digital device look like, and what would it do that we can't really do now? So together, we actually came up with these. We call them the Spectoplex. Now the Spectoplex would essentially be a device fashioned as an ordinary pair of sunglasses, except as soon as we put them on, a digital virtual overlay of some sort is somehow superimposed onto whatever we can see surrounding us. And then the idea would be that through this one device, we would be able to create real-time virtual worlds in which we could interact with things like video games based on the surroundings we happen to be in. So popular amongst the 13 and 14-year-olds was the idea that they could be shopping with their parents, be really, really bored, and then suddenly start shooting zombies in the shopping centre. Of course, that could still apply to me. I would just be with my girlfriend and not my parents. We could interact with the internet in a much more physical and real way, perhaps be able to see avatars of people we know standing right in front of us whenever we want, and in fact wherever we want. And there's probably countless other things that we didn't really have time to figure out or have the scientific knowledge or expertise to do that. But anyway, there you have it, the spectoplex. You saw it here first. What is my favourite technology provider? I wonder. Tell you what, I'll give you a clue. Okay. Since learning the language of Macintosh, my enjoyment and professional development and efficiency and organisational skills, etc., 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 well, they've simply increased a massive amount. For me, Apple epitomises the idea of design for the digital native. Everything is sleek and shiny and cool, and it always feels solid. You can't help but want to show it off a bit if you have a bit of Apple technology on the train or the bus or something like that. And everyone does it. But actually, I think this is actually all about language and culture again. Apple seem very aware of the trends, the behaviours, and of course language skills of the digital natives. Look at this new MacBook Pro, for example, which I'm actually making this video on through the little camera on the top, the iSight camera. It's a variety of devices crammed into one sleek and cool device, all of which can operate simultaneously, reflecting the more lateral and multitasking tongue of the digital natives. The whole Spaces thing in the new Leopard operating system is a great example of this, allowing people like me to use a variety of applications at the same time whilst working towards one goal. And it's pretty effortless, actually. It makes things very, very easy, that function. It allows me to do lots of things at the same time, which digital natives like to do. I mean, I could go on about this, but I don't actually want to just turn into a free advert for Apple. But suffice to say that I do really believe that Apple have got the digital natives sussed, and I think they really speak the similar language. Now, the only problem for me is if they weren't so damned expensive. But hey.